So in this episode of Soredemo, instead of a relaxing episode, we get a little bit of romance drama. Really interesting. I love the way it was displayed in this. They managed to handle the drama aspect in a very good light. I mean, better than some drama anime I've seen, so I give props to Soredemo. Now, overall, there was actually a lot of character progression in this episode. Main character progression in this episode was mainly for Luna, the new girl that got introduced, and we get to see how she was scared of Livius and ran away and didn't want to see him for 3 years because she saw the dark side of him. I love the way they used the actual imagery and the animation to show, like, the dark side and the light side on each half. It was really cool, and you gotta love the fucking shading on Livius. Oh my. Did you see the evilness just in his character features? I mean, as we look at this little boy, this little king, the Sun King, he looks like an innocent child, but then we see this other side that's just downright freaking dark, and I have to tell you, I love that. That is so awesome. He has a lot of evilness behind him. For just a child, he has a lot of darkness behind him, and he's a lot more mature than he's been led on to believe, like we've seen for this entire series. So, from this, we get to see some amazing animation on Livius. That entire scene was just really well done, and I commend the animators for doing such a good job on that scene, and I love the music that was displayed in this episode. For instance, right at the beginning of this episode, we hear a new song. I don't know if it was Tender Rain or not, but it sounded different, and it was really awesome getting to hear finally a new song for once that Nikki is actually singing, and it was enjoyable. I love the actual atmosphere this series gives off each week. I mean, even though I say it's relaxing, even though I said this episode was more on the drama-ish, it did have some relaxing scenes, which was funny, and it did have some good comedy scenes. I love the comedy, especially getting to see Luna teasing Nikki, just having a competition with her, and you just see how she's better than anything that Nikki can do, so I like that. But in the end, we get to see Livius cares for Princess Nikki, and he'd rather have her over anyone else, and that was enjoyable. And one thing we do get to see, though, is that Princess Nikki knows the true personality of Livius, okay? And we have Luna, this girl that was actually probably his fiancé. It was one-sided love, but she was his fiancé, pretty much found out his true him, how evil he was when his mother got killed, and so she ran away from him. So that was the main concept there, so I like the way they showed that. Good development, good pacing, good episode. Mainly, if you look at the standpoint of this episode, what was it about, is mainly just reconfirming the feelings that Princess Nikki and Livius had between each other, and I like that. It was good, you know, I guess, romance development, but really besides that, this episode really served no plot to the overall story. But that's just me nitpicking. It was a good episode. I love this episode, and I love Soredemo. I'm enjoying this series a lot more than I thought it would, and that is a good thing. And now, I really don't know how many episodes this series is going to be honest. I mean, is it going to be 20-something episodes? Either way, there's one thing I didn't notice. The opening song, it seemed changed. It seemed like they were showing Princess Nikki in her princess attire, you know, with, you know, our King Livius. So it was really interesting getting to see the way her attire changed, and I like the way the opening just changed to suit that after the events of last episode. Either way, love this episode. Go give it a watch if you haven't seen it yet. And it was another good, enjoyable, relaxing episode of Soredemo, even though it had its drama moments. Love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.